Hi viewers, welcome back to my class on heat transfer. In the previous class, you have studied the one-dimensional steady-state heat conduction through a composite wall when the thermal conductivity is constant. In those situations, we are not considered the heat generation within the material. So in fact, we have studied one-dimensional steady-state heat conduction through a composite wall without heat generation. In this class, I am going to explain how to find out the temperature variation and heat transfer when the material through which the conduction takes place is generating heat at a uniform rate. So we are going to study one-dimensional steady-state heat conduction through a material with uniform heat generation. Once again, we are taking the thermal conductivity of the material as constant in this study. Now consider a slab with the temperature T1 at the left end and T2 at the right end. Within the slab, heat is generated at a constant rate and it's given by Q. So Q is the heat generation per unit volume, per unit time. Now the question is to find out the temperature variation within this slab, how the temperature varies within the slab and the heat conducted through the wall. Now it is a steady state process. Temperature remains steady at each and every point, but the heat conducted is not constant. Heat conducted here and heat conducted at the other end is going to be different. Heat is generated within this element, within this bar heat is generated. So heat conducted at the left end and heat conducted at the right end be different, and heat conducted through the slab inside interior point also can be different. So it's a steady state process only, but there is a heat generation within that material. Temperature remains steady at one particular location and it's not varying, but heat transfer is not constant with respect to spatial coordinate. It is changing. Heat transfer is changing from one point, but it remains steady. Heat transfer also at this point, this location, the rate of heat transfer is not changing with respect to time. So here also heat transfer is not changing with respect to time, but heat transfer is changing with respect to spatial coordinates. Whereas in the previous case where the heat transfer was constant, even it was not changing with respect to spatial coordinate. Now the temperature variation when it was without heat generation and constant thermal conductivity, steady state one-dimensional heat transfer with constant thermal conductivity, temperature variation was linear within the material. But now we will get a different variation, and generally we will get parabolic variation for material with the heat generation. Now you know the governing equation for one-dimensional steady-state heat conduction through a material with uniform heat generation, and for a material having constant thermal conductivity as d square T by dx square plus Q by K is equal to 0. So this is a one-dimensional steady-state heat conduction equation with heat generation for an isotropic material. So isotropic material means K is constant. K is not a directional property. So this is a governing equation. Now if you integrate once, you will get dt by dx plus qx by k is equal to C1. And again if you integrate, you get t plus qx square by 2k is equal to C1x plus C2. Now we have to apply the boundary conditions. Applying the boundary conditions, when x is equal to 0, we know temperature is T1, that is at the left face. I'm taking this as a y-axis, so distance x is measured in this direction. Here x is 0, here x is L. So when x is 0, we know the temperature at the left face is T1, and you can substitute that in the equation. So the equation is T plus Qx square by 2k is equal to C1x plus C2. So x is 0 you are substituting, so this term will be 0, this term 0. Now you get T1 as C2. When x is 0, T is T1, and you will get C2 as T1. So C2 will get as T1. And again, second boundary condition is x is equal to L, temperature is T2, right face temperature is T2. So substituting this once again in that equation for temperature, T2 plus x is substituted as L, QL square by 2k is equal to C1, instead of x I substituted L, C1L plus C2. So you will get T2 plus QL square by 2k is equal to C1L plus T1. C2 we already got it as T1. So substituting C2 as T1, you can solve for C1. C1 is T2 minus T1, T2 minus T1 by L. You divide by L, so you have to divide this term also with L. So you will get QL by 2k. So C1 you will get as T2 minus T1 by L plus QL by 2k. So we got the terms C2 and C1, the constant of integration we got. Now we can substitute in the temperature equation. So temperature equation is this, you substitute C1 and C2 here. So substituting equation 3 and 4, that is C1 and C2 values in the equation for temperature, you get T plus Qx square by 2k is equal to this is C1 is T2 minus T1 by L plus QL by 2k, C1x, so that is T2 minus T1 by L x plus QL by 2k x plus C2 is T1. So by substituting we will get this expression. Now you can take that Qx square by 2k to the right hand side, you will get T is equal to minus Qx square by 2k plus T2 minus T1 into x by L plus QLx by 2k plus T1. Now Qx by 2k you can take outside, it is common in the first term and this term. So Qx by 2k is taken outside. So Qx by 2k if you take outside, here Qx by 2k if you take outside, only left L is left out. So L here if you take Qx by 2k you will get minus x, so L minus x. So T is equal to Qx by 2k into L minus x plus T2 minus T1 into x by L plus T1. So this gives the expression for temperature variation within the world. Any location x at any distance x from the left hand, you can find out the temperature within the world by applying in this equation. So you have to substitute the value of x provided you know other temperatures and heat generated and other material properties. Now to find out the heat transfer, you have to apply Fourier law of heat conduction. You can use Fourier law of heat conduction. Fourier law of heat conduction is Q is equal to minus Ka dt by dx, and we have T dt by dx. Differentiate this with respect to x. So K minus K is there. Differentiating this with respect to x, you can split into two terms, and first term when you differentiate QL by 2k you will get, and second term it is Q minus Qx square by 2k. X square when you differentiate you get 2x and 2 cancels, so minus Qx by k. Minus Qx square by 2k is there, So when you differentiate, you get minus qx by k, plus differentiating this with respect to x, you get t2 minus t1 by l, and differentiation of t1, since t1 is a constant, the differentiation is 0. So this is the equation for heat transfer, and it is depending on x. So it's not a constant, it depends on x. So rate of heat transfer is changing with respect to x. Now let us work out a numerical example. A plain wall with thermal conductivity 42 watts per meter Kelvin, 120 mm thick, generates heat at a uniform rate of 7.5 into 10 raised to 6 watts per meter cube. The two sides of the wall are maintained at 170 degrees centigrade and 140 degrees centigrade. Neglecting end effects, calculate temperature distribution across the plane wall, the position and magnitude of maximum temperature, the heat flow rate from each surface of the wall. So thermal conductivity of the material of the wall is given, the thickness is given, rate of heat generation is 7.5 into 10 raised to 6 watts per meter cube, and the temperature on either side are 170 degrees centigrade and 140 degrees centigrade. You have to find out how the temperature distribution occurs across the plane wall, and position and magnitude of maximum temperature. So what distance this maximum temperature occurs, and also you have to find out the maximum temperature. The heat flow rate from each surface of the wall. So you need to find out the heat flow at the left end and right end of the wall, because heat transfer is varying with the x direction. Now the given data is tabulated here. Temperature T1 is 170 degrees centigrade, T2 temperature on the other end is 140 degrees centigrade, thermal conductivity is 42 watts per meter Kelvin, the rate of heat generation is 7.5 into 10 raised to 6 watts per meter cube, thickness of the wall is 120 mm, which is 0.12 meter. Now we know the temperature distribution in the wall is given by T plus qx square by 2k is equal to C1x plus C2. This we are getting by double integration. After writing the governing equation for one-dimensional steady state heat conduction through a plane wall with uniform heat generation, you can integrate it. The governing equation is d square T by dx square plus q by k is equal to 0, assuming that material is having constant thermal conductivity. Integrating that governing equation twice, you get the expression for T. So it's T plus qx square by 2k is equal to C1x plus C2. So this is general equation for temperature. Now based on the situation, you have to solve for C1 and C2. Now let us start from the basic, and general case we derive substituting Ts T1 and x is 0 and Ts T2 and x is equal to L, and then later on we will substitute the temperatures and the thickness of the wall. Now applying the boundary condition x is equal to 0, T is T1, you get T1 plus x is 0, temperature is T1, x is 0, so x is 0, so you get C2 as T1. Now second boundary condition is x is L, T is T2. So substituting T as T2 when x is L, you get this expression, and also I substituted for C2 as T1, so you get T2 plus QL square by 2k is equal to C1L plus T1. So C1 is T2 minus T1 by L plus QL by 2k, dividing by L, 1 L goes and you get QL by 2k. This expression we already derived, but once again as a part of this problem I am deriving in the form of general equation and then substituting the values. Now substituting C1 and C2 in the expression for T, you get T plus qx square by 2k is equal to c1 into x, so t2 minus t1 by L into x plus this into x, so qlx by 2k plus t1 plus c2 was there plus c2 is t1. So t is equal to, taking the qx square by 2k to the right hand side, t is equal to minus qx square by 2k plus t2 minus t1 into x by L plus qlx by 2k plus t1. Now we will take qx by 2k, which is common in these two terms outside. So qx by 2k if you take outside you will get L, and qx by 2k if you take outside you get minus x. So qx by 2k into L minus x plus t2 minus t1 into x by L plus t1. So this is expression for temperature. It's a general case. Now let us substitute the given data. The heat flux is given, thermal conductivity is given, the thickness of the wall is given, all temperatures are given. Let us substitute that. So Q is 7.5 into 10 raised to 6 watts per meter cube, and thermal conductivity is given as 42 watts per meter Kelvin, and the thickness of the wall is 0.12 meter, and temperature T1 and T2 170 and 140, and this is the thickness of the wall, and this is T1. So substituting that and reducing, we will get an expression for temperature as T is equal to minus 89,285.714 x square plus 10,964.286 x plus 170. As you all know, this is an expression for parabola, so it is a parabolic variation. Temperature varies parabolically within the material. Now as the temperature varies parabolically, as I shown here, there will be a peak somewhere at any distance location. You will have a peak. Now to find out the peak, you already know the expression for temperature, a parabolic equation we got. At the peak you will have slope 0, so wherever the peak is occurring, the slope will be 0. You can differentiate this expression for temperature and equate that to 0. That will give the value of x at which this peak occurs. So knowing that at the peak the slope is 0, you can differentiate the temperature equation which you obtained and equate to 0, which will give the value of x at which this peak occurs. And later, after getting x, you can substitute that value of x in the temperature equation to get the temperature at that location. Now to find out the maximum temperature, equate the slope of a temperature curve to 0. Differentiate this, that will give dt by dx. So when you differentiate x square, when you differentiate you get 2x, so 2 into this constant into x plus when you differentiate with respect to x, you will get 10,964.286 is equal to 0. So solving this, you get x is equal to 0.0614 meter. So from the left end 0.0614 meter away, you will get the peak point for the temperature. So temperature will be maximum at this location. Now this you can substitute, this value of x you can substitute. This is a location at which maximum temperature occurs, and this value you can substitute here, that will give the maximum temperature. So in the expression for temperature, you substitute x as 0.0614, which will give the maximum temperature. To find out the maximum temperature, substitute x as 0.0614 in the expression for temperature. You will get the maximum temperature as 506.603 degrees centigrade. This was your temperature expression which you have got in the previous slide. Substitute x as 0.0614 and solving for, you get temperature, maximum temperature as 506.603 degrees centigrade. We have to find out the heat flow rate on either side of the wall. We know that dt by dx. Once you know the slope, you can find out the rate of heat flow as minus ka dt by dx. but taking unit area minus k dt by dx at x is equal to 0. So this is important because based on x the value of heat transfer is changing, because dt by dx depends on x. Dt by dx is a function of x, so even q is going to be a function of x. So minus k dt by dx at x is equal to 0 is the heat transfer when x is equal to 0. Now substituting k is 42, dt by dx, and this expression dt by dx, you substitute x as 0, first term will be 0, you get 10,964.286. so you will get the heat transfer at the left end of the wall as 4,60,500.012 watts per meter square. Because it's for unit area we have calculated this, you can write it as watts per meter square. Now dividing by 1000, you can write in kilowatts, 460.5 kilowatts per meter square. So this is the rate of heat flow at the left end of the wall. Now to find out the heat flow at the right end of the wall, once again you can apply the same equation, minus Ki dt by dx, but again A is taken as 1 for unit area. K dt by dx minus K dt by dx at x is equal to 0.12. So dt by dx we know, substitute x as 0.12 and k is 42, substituting that we'll get 70,39,499.964 watts per meter square. So if you divide by 1000, we'll get 7,039.499 kilowatts per meter square. So this is the rate of heat flow at the right end. So you have seen that left end rate heat flow rate is less and the right end it is more. It has increased from 460.5 kilowatts to 7,039.499 kilowatts per meter square area. This is because of heat generated within the wall. So the rate of heat transfer is varying with respect to the distance. The heat transfer is continuously changing as the heat is flowing through the wall. The rate of heat flow is also changing. Thank you for watching.